One missed COBRA notice cost a New Jersey employer over $94,000 in penalties last year. They weren't a bad company. They didn't cut corners. They just didn't know. I'm Kathryn Reed with JS Benefits Group, and in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the 3 compliance mistakes I see employers make most often and the ones that cost them the most. ACA, ERISA, COBRA. 3 acronyms, 3 sets of rules, and every one of them has teeth. Mistake number 1, blowing your ACA reporting. If you have 50 or more full-time equivalent employees, the IRS considers you an applicable large employer, an ALE, and you have 2 obligations. You have to offer affordable minimum value coverage to at least 95% of your full-time staff, and you have to file Forms 1094-C and 1095-C every year. Miss either one, and the penalties stack fast. There are 2 ACA penalties to know. The penalty, sometimes called the sledgehammer, kicks in when you don't offer coverage to 95% of full-timers, and even one of them gets a subsidy on the marketplace. That's roughly $3,000 per full-time employee, minus your first 30. For a 100-employee company, that's over $200,000 annually. The penalty, the tack hammer, applies when you do offer coverage, but it's either unaffordable or doesn't meet minimum value. That's about $4,400 per employee who goes to the exchange and gets a credit. Smaller, but it adds up. Here's what I want you to hear. In my experience, almost nobody gets penalized for not offering coverage. They get penalized because their 1095Cs are late, wrong, or filed against the wrong indicator codes. The IRS sends a letter 226-J. The employer panics, and now they're negotiating down a 6-figure penalty over a clerical error. The fix is unglamorous, but it works. Track full-time status month by month. Pick the right affordability safe harbor for your workforce. File on time. And if a 226J ever shows up, respond inside the 30-day window. Silence is the most expensive thing you can do. Mistake number 2, and this one shocks people every single time, is assuming you have an ERISA compliant plan document when you don't. ERISA applies to virtually every private sector employer that offers health, dental, vision, life, disability, any welfare benefit. And ERISA requires 2 things most employers don't have: a written plan document and a summary plan description. Now, employers say to me all the time, "Well, my insurance carrier sent me a big book. Isn't that the SPD?" No. The certificate of coverage your carrier provides is not an SPD. It's missing the ERISA language. The plan sponsor, the named fiduciary, the plan year, claims procedures, ERISA rights statement. That's why brokers like us write what's called a wrap document. The penalties here are a slow bleed and then a sudden bill. If a participant requests an SPD and you don't produce one in 30 days, that's $110 per day per participant. And if you have 100 or more participants in a plan, you owe a Form 5500 every year. Miss that filing, and the DOL can charge over $2,700 per day. Per day. Here's the silver lining. The DOL runs a delinquent filer voluntary compliance program. If you self-report a missed 5500 before they catch you, the penalty is capped at $4,000 per plan. Versus the daily accrual, it's not a close call. If you've missed a filing, fix it before they find it. One more thing on ERISA. If you sponsor a health plan, you are, by law, a fiduciary. That means you have a legal duty to act in the best interest of participants. That's when you pick vendors, when you set premiums, when you handle plan assets. Most employers don't think of themselves that way. The DOL absolutely does. Last one. Mistake number 3 is COBRA. And I'll be honest, this is the one that keeps me up at night, because it's where the plaintiff's bar has gotten really aggressive. Class action COBRA notice lawsuits have exploded over the last 5 years. We're talking settlements in the 6 and 7 figures over deficient notices. Plaintiff firms are running playbooks now. They sue over notices that omit the plan administrator's name, that use outdated DOL model language. There are 2 notices employers miss most. The first is the general notice, which has to go out within 90 days of a new employee becoming eligible for the plan. The second is the election notice, which goes out within 14 days of a qualifying event. A termination, a reduction in hours, a divorce, a dependent aging out. 14 days, not 30. And when notices are wrong or late, the penalties layer. $110 a day under ERISA. Another $100 a day excise tax under the IRS code. Statutory damages plus attorney's fees. I have seen single employee COBRA cases settle for $60,000, $70,000, $90,000. And one detail almost no one knows. If a qualified beneficiary's spouse lives at a different address, you owe each of them a separate notice. Failing that one technicality has ended employers in court. So here's the recap. ACA. Track your full-timers. File 1094-C and 1095-C on time. Respond to letter 226-J fast. ERISA. Get a real plan document and a wrap SPD and file your 5500s. COBRA. Send the general notice and the election notice on time with current language to the right addresses. If you've watched this and thought, I'm not sure we're doing all of that, you're not alone. And that's actually why we built our compliance review. It's free, it takes about 30 minutes, and you walk away knowing exactly where the gaps are. You'll find the link below this video, or call us at 877-355-6070. Compliance isn't glamorous, but the employers who get it right sleep better. I'm Kathryn Reed. Thanks for watching.